Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
And as always, thank you to Lurks, our feral venerator of Swarrain, for your continued support. You're still supporting us. I don't know how, we don't know why, but thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mommy Lurks.
Why do you have to make it creepy? We just started, Matt.
Every time.
I'm sorry.
Matt. Thank you, Lux.
So today we are starting a new sort of side series, the Queers of Time review queer movies. And what better way to kick it off than a movie that is, one, super gay, and two, starring our very own Dragon Reborn, Josha Stradowski, in 2018's Just Friends, co-starring Majd Mardo. The movie is Dutch, so you'll have to use subtitles, but I think, and I think my co-hosts think, it is well worth it to watch a subtitled movie.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's, there's no, but anyway, like in any case, if you want to watch it, you can only do subtitle because there's no English version at all.
Yeah.
But as someone who grew up with watching English movie with French sub, because that's literally how I grew up, I don't think I can go back to that because I think you always miss something when you're when you're watching a translation or yeah. So.
Yeah.
But the subtitles are pretty good, so, I mean, they didn't feel weird. I cannot confirm whether they were a good translation or not because I do not speak Dutch. But, they didn't bother me.
I mean, even when I'm just watching, just English shows, I always have the subtitles on because I have, slight auditory processing issues, and so it's just easier, and so it's just this is great. It makes no difference.
I feel like a lot of millennials and Gen Z are probably way more into using subtitles or open to it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know Dutch either. I know some Norwegian and there are some commonalities and I picked up a few things. But so I'm not an expert.
I thought I would be picking up a few things because there's also a lot of similarities between Dutch and German. And I do get a little bit of German, but not that much. So I was... Yeah. Just disappointed in myself.
Yeah,
that is a movie.
It sounded great. It sounded great to me.
Yeah. So general vibe. What did we get of it?
It's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was cute.
It's very cute. Yeah,
it was cute.
So I kind of not really struggled, but at some point there was so it's a romantic movie, but there's also sometimes they have some very campy moments, and I just there's at first I didn't start taking any notes when I started watching it, and then there was one moment that made me just stop the TV and pick up a notebook and write in big letters. And can you guys guess what moment that was?
Was it the Kleenex box?
No.
Okay, my guess is when he's in the gym and starts staring, and there's this long segment where he's just staring at this guy's junk.
I laughed at that, but that wasn't it.
I'm curious now. Okay,
it's later than that.
Oh, it's later.
Yeah,
the Americana diner.
It's when they meet, really meet, and you get a big slow-mo and a change of music, and it's it's so campy, and I was oh,
it's a freaking Disney movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, when he turns around and the guy is there and it zooms in slow then fast. It's that was very much used a lot in Queer as Folk. So that's a very early 2000s gay.
Thank you, Matt. I was where have I've seen this specific thing before. That's exactly where I've seen it. It's Queer as Folk. Oh my god!
You can hear the gasp. Okay,
the gay gasps, the homosexual gasping.
And the setting, because you have Josha, who's, I forgot to write down the names. That's what I was supposed to do before the recording. But Yosha's character, and he is sitting at the table, and he has to turn to see that character that is going down the stair. So a bit above him. So there's really this also change of plan, like from someone in the lower frame and someone in the upper frame, and with the slow-mo and the change of music. And I'm like, this was hilarious. It's,
and the granny was like, oh, they gonna fuck.
Oh, absolutely.
The granny was shipping so fast.
She was in full... Like, as soon as, like, when the guy is like, oh, can I get your number? And Yosha's character is like, it just rides off. And the granny's like, immediately gives him the number. It's so good.
I love it.
0622, I don't remember the number, but...
So Yosha's character is named Yoris, and the other guy is Yad, Y-A-D. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing those. I tried my best based on the 10 or so times I've watched this movie.
Yoris and Yad.
For the people who haven't watched the movie and don't mind listening to us despite not having watched the movie, to give a brief summary, it's a queer rom-com. You get this guy, Yoris, played by Josha, who... As a sister, his father died several years ago, and he still has some deep related trauma to that. He's pretty rich. Does he have even a job? Because I don't think I've seen him work a lot during the whole thing, and I still do not know what he does in his life.
Yeah. Just rich and gay.
Yeah,
basically... When his dad died, apparently they got a lot of money from health insurance, from life insurance. And yes, they've been living from that for a while. And the movie starts with him, his sister, and his mother getting back the urn of his father's ashes, because apparently they were renting a storage place for the urn for years and years, and
because they didn't want
because they didn't want it, and now the mom doesn't want to pay for it anymore, and there's like a few scenes in the movie where Josha is just with his urn and giving to leaving it at other places, like at his sister's or at his mother, and the urn coming back to him somehow. And anyone wants to talk about Yad?
Yad is he's a guy who has recently come back from Amsterdam after partying and tweaking out too much on drugs. And his parents want him to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, but he just wants to have a nice job that pays decent money that lets him live comfortably. And they're like, no, you must do better. And so that's I like that neither of their trauma drama is based on their sexuality. It's all other things.
Yeah. For Yad, you also do have that he comes from an immigrant family. I think his family is Syrian.
Yes.
So there's also the high expectation of people having moved to another country and wanted their children to succeed and do well in that country. So there's definitely this background being played around.
Not to mention the racism that he faces.
And the racism that he faces.
Ooh, boy.
From problematic mommy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen.
And even the grandma, it's not obvious, but it's she means well, but she also do some very awkward thing, a few things.
Yeah. She does the boomer thing of where she is, I think she's genuinely not aware of the way, what she is saying is offensive. But it's offensive, and it doesn't change the fact that it's offensive. Yeah.
Yeah, because for example, she's gonna say, "Oh no, he's not Muslim. He's Jewish," because somehow she thinks is Jewish. So it's basically she always refer to a girl she used to be friend with who disappeared during the Second World War. Because she's the age that grandma, if she's 80s right now, she definitely went through the war. And she's nice, but you do see that she has a bunch of stereotypes about that. But she doesn't treat him badly in any situation. She's very nice with him. So, it's it's older generations kind of vibe.
Yeah. She's the kind of person who says problematic things, but you don't really sense malice in it. So she needs to learn to do better. And I get the sense that she can, but that's not the focus of the movie, but she is one of those people who can be taken aside and say, hey, this is not cool. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Josha's mother is just straight up racist.
Can I just say, I know that she's problematic. I was kind of living for her though. She is a chaotic, she is a chaotic mess. She's a chaotic mess. And it's compelling to watch her. She's fascinating to watch, but she's a hot mess.
When Yad meets her for the first time, or she meets him for the first time, and she's just blatantly racist, and she's there's something about a comment about being from Spain, and he's like, oh, well, you're from Spain, right? You look orange enough. And she just just shuts her down, and it is that's when I fell in love with him as a character. It's okay, so he's not here for the racism.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I did regret a little bit with it. So the movie, we do see a lot of Joris and his family, especially his interaction with his mother and his grandmother. We see a little bit Yad's family, but a lot less. And I feel that would have been interesting to see them more, especially they don't get to interact with the other the boyfriend.
Right.
And kind of my biggest regret about the movie, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It was very obvious that Joris is the main character. He's it features both of them, but he's the guy that we're focusing on, and so his family is the one that we get. But I agree, I would have loved to see more of Yad's family and their interaction and just their sort of impression of the relationship. I don't know. It would have been nice to see.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could have a sequel that does that, but I felt so Yad's storyline was basically him getting back on his feet and falling in love, which is a great storyline, but I think Joris's storyline was processing his dad's death, because I hate film critics who look for symbolism in everything, but I'm about to do that. When he's giving his ashes to his family and trying to hide the ashes, I feel that's him trying to avoid directly dealing with and processing his own grief. And he has to do, and that's a much deeper emotional connection that drives a main character plot. And of course, he ends the movie with spreading the ashes.
So regarding his relation to his father, you do see that he's also missing a lot of context, because his father died when he was 11, 12, when he was pretty young. And
quite young.
Later in the movie, you learn that he almost doesn't have any picture from his dad. He doesn't have anything from his dad because his dad and his mother had a fallout before his dad died. And I think as probably the mother, as a way to process her own grief or whatever, she put everything from his father in a storage, a storage box, a storage room. And Joris doesn't know about that. So you do see that there's something missing, and that's part of why he's struggling with those ashes. I do feel Yad had the potential, because Yad has a very specific relationship with his parents, especially with his mother, in the sense that his mother is never happy with who he's dating or what he's doing with his life.
Yeah.
And Yad may seem like he doesn't care, but he actually cares a lot, because in the movie, Joris and Yad gets together until Yad actually talks to his mom, and his mom is it's not good enough for you. And very quickly after that, Yad acts as if he didn't care about what his mother is thinking, but he still breaks up with Joris, mainly because of that. There's other reason why they break up at first, but it has a main, a significant part into his reasoning as to why they shouldn't be together. And you have a moving scene at some point where he's crying and his parent is comforting him. But I think it would have been interesting to explore that side of him a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I wonder if what his mother what Yad's mother does is like a low-key form of homophobia where like you accept your kids, but every same-sex partner they bring to you, they're like, oh, well, this person's not good enough. It's the wrong
Not
job.
good enough.
They don't have enough money. They're not this enough or that enough. And like, it's one of those soft homophobia things that it's hard to prove, but because it feels like it's something that's baked into that person. Like they might not even realize that they're being homophobic or racist. You know,
I feel like there's also some classism there, like because there's really this need, like this family trying out to belong to a certain part of the society and not feeling like it's like you see all of the potential your kid had and you see him wasting his potential, and now he's dating someone that doesn't even have a job and doesn't know what he's doing with his life, and you're like, you could do so much more than that. I feel like there was also a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that could benefit from a sequel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think easily. And it's hard. Like being an immigrant family and wanting the best for your kids and dealing with your own internalized homophobia that you may like you're kind of aware of maybe but not really, but it comes across as like a protectiveness. And so that's really hard, I think, to reason with, because there is that protective side, and also knowing that like you're already immigrants, anything else that others you is going to be even more on top of that, which I think is a really scary thing for a parent to kind of reckon with. And so it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, and I thought the movie dealt with other than like not going deeper into Yad's relationship with his family, I feel like it did a good enough job of like showing us that this anti-immigration rhetoric is just ridiculous and bad. Like it didn't need to like take a morality stance.
Yeah.
Because it made it clear by showing what it does. And I think the fact that they come together in the end is sort of a statement like bigotry is just not strong enough when it's compared to something like that, like human connection and love, which I thought was a nice message.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do get, like, for example, Yori's mother coming to terms with her own racism and moving that aside. She's so extra.
Oh my god, she's
gosh.
I could watch like almost like a mini series just on her, because I feel like there's so much, and there's like she's obviously meant to be like the comedic relief in a lot of ways and everything like that, but I really do think there's a lot going on underneath, which is why she manifests the way that she does. I think there's there's a lot that she has not dealt with, and that's maybe kind of the reason why she is the way she is, and it obviously affects Joris a lot. I would have loved to see even more with Joris and his mom and his grandmother and the way that they interact. Like we got some for sure, but just like even more of that, because that dynamic is also fascinating. Where you have like three very different perspectives and personalities and the way that
that scene when the grandma is basically telling the mom that she should give some motherly love to her son because he's definitely not going well, because it's a bit after they break up between Yad and Joris, and the mother is like, well, when did you gave me any sort of motherly love? Like, because she had her husband like cheated on her with someone else, and she was destroyed, and she basically was alone. And she went down that path and did what she did, but she also didn't have anyone to get any sort of support from. So, and I thought that was very interesting. But like, gosh, the scene when she comes back from having seen that doctor, like she see how do you call that?
Oh my god,
a nose job.
Yeah, she got a nose job. Yeah. I don't know whether it was a nose job, like how do you call that type of surgeon?
Oh, plastic surgeon.
Yeah, she has a plastic surgeon that she goes to see regularly, and apparently is a scam. And she comes back to the surgeon like crying and yeah, it's
the scene where like her face is just busted beyond busted, and Josha just pops his undies off and like goes bare ass across the screen. Like that is just some peak.
That is so
some peak,
campy.
Yeah.
That is some peak camp right there.
It's
like mama drama, gay boy mama drama.
That's the thing.
Because like
Yes, exactly.
the mom has this thing that when she wants, like she listening to opera music when she wants to feel dramatic and this kind of thing. And at some point she leaves to get that nose job. And during that time, Josha is like in his depressive mood. So it's basically in his underwear listening to opera like while drinking. And then the mom comes back and she's crying because of that scam surgeon and is kind of making fun of her. And so she's like, your undies like reversed. How do you say that? Like, yeah, anyway, you
Inside out. Oh yeah.
yeah, it's inside out. And it's just like takes the undies off and then walk back upstairs. And I'm like, boy.
Why can't we get that in Wheel of Time?
Yeah.
Speaking of Wheel of Time, when he and his sister and his mom are walking into the funeral parlor, I was like, this is Rand and Egwene and Moraine walking somewhere. It's like, it just gave it energy. Like, Moraine's obviously not racist, but like the mess of Moraine, the dramatics of Egwene, and just the fuck am I even doing here, Rand? Is just like...
Moraine is not as messy as that.
I guess not most of the time.
No, well...
I'm thinking show Moraine, probably. Not book Moraine.
She's... Moraine... Yeah, show Moraine... Well, book Moraine... I just want to say, book Moraine is not, like, messy in, like, the classic sense. But this is the same Moraine who,
True.
like, caught a fish with her bare hands just to show Perrin that she could and walked away. So, I mean, do with that what you will. It's a different kind of mess.
And she walked away.
Yeah. I also love how his mother calls him like screaming, and then she falls down the escalators, and like she's clearly had an accident, and he's like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. It's
all right. Well,
gosh, yes.
I gotta go.
He must be so used to his mother just like being a hot mess that he doesn't even react.
Oh,
yeah.
It's very obvious that he's like, okay, it's another Tuesday. This is just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what does Yoris does with his day? He goes to the gym. Apparently he makes video with his computer because he was making like that fun montage of him and Yad, which is like the gayest thing that someone can do when he's dealing with a breakup. But outside of that, what does he do with his days? Oh, he plays a little bit with his drone. He has a tiny drone to take like picture, and it's basically how he first sees Yad, because Yad is actually a surf teacher. Yeah, and yeah, what does he do?
Yeah,
I mean, he's just rich and gay.
Just vibes.
I mean,
yeah.
He just vibes.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Rand in another turning who just like, this is post last battle, and he's like, he's won the war, and he's been sent to like this boring place with no magic, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna vibes now. I saved all of creation. I'm just gonna do vibes and be gay.
Yeah.
Maybe yearn a little bit as a treat. Do some gay yearning as well.
Do some gay yearning as a treat.
So much gay yearning.
The when they slow down when Yad taps Yoris on the back as he's trimming the hedges, and he just chops off the wire, just chops it in half, and it does that weird early 2000s slow to fast.
Yeah.
While listening to Justin Timberlake.
That, and also like when they listen to music together. Was that Justin Timberlake? I didn't even notice.
It was.
It was. Yeah. The movie's just so. It's a mess in a good way. I mean it in a good way. It's a very well written movie,
and it's cute. Like they have some like they get together pretty quickly. Then they have a bunch of very cute stuff together. Then at some point they break up because it's like for various reasons. But one of them was they had a date in a restaurant, and a few guys in the background were very homophobic, and Yad was more in a stay cool and we don't care kind of mode. Meanwhile, like Yoris just went to bash their heads,
Uh-huh.
which he did very well.
He did.
He did a great job at it.
But that did not please Yad. So, yeah, he did a great job at kicking out his homophobes. But, yeah, I think Yad really didn't like the violence. So they break up. Then there's some mutual gay yearning on both sides and gay sadness. And then they get back together, so that's fine.
So is this a thing in other parts of the world, like these Americana diners that just like, look, it's a 1950s American style with American waitresses and flags and menus? Like, is that a thing in other parts of the world?
I think so.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
I mean,
yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of those in France, but probably because they were not really next to where I was living. But yeah, it's like, I mean, you have like super classic French restaurant and very typical like things in America. So, I mean, why not?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I think it's funny. It's like, how do you like it now, Americans? How do you like being fetishized by other cultures? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. I just don't think of us as worth emulating or having things done. But then I realized that we have contributed to world pop culture in ways that isn't, evil colonialism.
Yeah, like American Burger,
exactly.
or there's a barbecue place not far from my work where it's like Texan ribs and this kind of thing. So you do have American stuff outside.
Yeah. It was very interesting. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a fun movie. It was like just the right amount of drama. Like the homophobia was not too overwhelming, and the internal angst the characters went through wasn't connected to their sexuality. It had a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
So like it didn't give us a false sense of like overly saccharine sweet vibes, but it wasn't too melodramatic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, there was a good balance.
Yeah.
There was a good balance indeed.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many funny moments.
It was.
I'm still back to my like music and slow-mo moment when they meet. It was hilarious. And they were so horny for the other one. That make me laugh.
yeah.
And yeah, it's, oh gosh.
Immediately.
You remember that? I think it's that discussion between Yad and her sister. No, I don't remember whether it was a discussion with Joris and his sister or with Yad and his sister. But there's at some point where they mentioned like do a gay sport, purse throwing or something like that, purse tossing or something. And I was like, I think it was Joris and his sister. Because she was like, oh, you need to meet gay people, do a gay sport.
That sounds like something his sister would say.
Purse tossing or something.
That sounds like a his sister thing.
That made me laugh. The grandmother giving the number, Josha doing a spin class. And that, I don't know, but that made me laugh. I thought there's a moment that just struck me. It's like, Josha, Joris is just gay and yearning and depressed in the field, and I think at some point he's just throw away his phone, and there's still music, but he's basically using earphone, like a cable earphone, and I'm like, if it's not connected to your phone, what is it connected to, and why is there still some music?
It's connected to his depression.
Yes, exactly. His depression is fueling the music.
I just laughed. Or maybe it was still the time of iPod and this kind of thing.
Yeah, Depressify. It's like Spotify, but it's fueled by your depression and your gay angst.
Yeah.
I also love how because we all know that Josha has like a not very strong but like sort of steady social media presence, and every time Joris had an Instagram post that we saw, I was like, that's Josha just being himself, like staring awkwardly at a camera from a weird boomer angle. It's like, okay, that was probably the easiest part of the job for him. He didn't change a thing.
Yeah.
It's just him, which is great.
That was a good first movie to review, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, especially one about Josha.
It's a weird intersection of both of our interests.
Yeah. The gay and the gay in the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm. I also have to say, I am a Josha originalist. I liked this movie before Wheel of Time. just just before, for all you posers out there who just like it because Yosha's on. I'm just kidding, obviously. But I was very excited when I saw that Josha was cast as Rand. I was like, fuck yes, he's gonna be so gay. And he wasn't gay, but that's okay.
I mean, after seeing the movie, I was like, yeah, of course, Matt liked it. We saw Yosha's butt twice and Yosha's ab like for a long sequence. So he looked good.
And moody.
I don't think he had that much to work out for like season 2 of The Wheel of Time because he was so in shape in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gosh, that scene at the gym with just looking at someone's
just staring
dick for like 5 minutes.
Like, he's just staring.
Yeah.
Just gay pining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we wanted to chat about?
It was cute. It's a cute little movie.
Watch Just Friends. It's on Amazon Prime.
I liked it.
It's cute.
The grandma was so cute during that, when they did the 80s birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
That was so cute.
It was a cute ending.
So cute. So cute. Yeah.
It's like, it's a non-homophobic grandma, I don't know, I found it a little bit healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there are instances of like grandparents being way less homophobic than parents. I know that, of course, this is not true anymore because time has passed, but like back in the 90s when you had, in Native American communities, when you had queer kids from Native American families, the parents were often very homophobic because they were raised in this colonialized Christian setting, whereas the grandparents were not. And in many Native nations and tribes where like it's not a big deal, like they maintained that mentality, but their children were raised with this colonialized Christianity. So like a lot of queer youth in the 90s had supportive grandparents and parents who were like just totally awful. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
It happens quite a bit in the Black community too. Same kind of idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Europe, I don't know. I just have the rural grandparents.
Well, I think that's it's probably a wrap-a-roni.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, well, in that case, thank you for listening to this episode of The Queers of Time. Yeah, as you can notice, in the past few months, we've been trying to expand a bit outside of The Wheel of Time too, just because at some point you get limited in how many queer subjects you can find within The Wheel of Time, and we like to talk about queer stuff. So we've been talking about queer books, we've been talking now about queer movies, there's been Kat and James were talking about Ring of Power. I hope that people enjoy that, even if you came first for The Wheel of Time. I hope you still find that content interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If yes, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We haven't mentioned that in a while, but reviews does help for people to find us, so we can get a bit more listen. If you want to find us anywhere, we are on Twitter, Discord, a few other places, I guess. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon. So producing a podcast takes time and money. And if you want to support, leave a comment and join us on Patreon. Whatever. Okay. Anything else? I'm forgetting.
But whatever. Do what you want. It's fine.
I am so out of it. Sorry, I'm a bit sick today.
I know. You gotta go to
No, it's
bed.
okay.
You gotta go to bed.
Okay.
Well, bye everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.